Welcome to chapter 18 of the book of Job, Baldad's discourse on the impious. Baldad was the tyrannos, the tyrant. It comes from Sauchetes. Not sure where that is. It possibly was in where the Gaza Strip area towards Egypt, because it mentions a place close to this where Pharaoh came and attacked. To understand what Baldad the Shuhite says, I think it's interesting to go to the last verse of this chapter, and it says, "These are the houses of the unjust, and this is the place of the ones not knowing the Lord." I think Baldad has it right here in that what he describes as far as the people that are impious, unjust, the ones that don't know the Lord. What's going to happen? Sad state of affairs for them. It begins, I'll read some in the Greek. We'll go through the chapter. Ipolavon they Baldad, o Sauchetes, legi, mekritinos, upavsi, Episcus, Inake avti lalisomen. Diati osper tetrapoda sesio picamen enopion su. And undertaking, Baldad the Shuhite says, well, now he's talking to Job, until when will you not cease? You know, we've heard all this. When are you going to stop? Wait. So that also we should speak to these things. Now give us a chance, he's saying. Why, as if the four-footed beast, a tetrapoda, tetra is four, pod, foot. The four-footed beast, do we keep silent before you? Why, the animals don't talk, of course. Why are we like that? Anger has dealt with you. Well, anger, I suppose, now I'm not sure whose, if he's talking about the anger of Job or he's talking about anger of God towards him. If he's using anger of God towards him, then he's wrong. If he's using the anger of Job in the condition he's in, then he's correct. For what? If you should die, will it be uninhabited under heaven? So, if you die of this, so, well, it's the way it goes. Or shall mountains be eradicated from out of their foundation? Is the world going to stop? But the light of impious ones shall be extinguished. Now we see the impious ones, and all the way to the end of this chapter, Baldad explains and tells what he thinks is going to happen to the impious ones, which very well may be. But the light of impious ones shall be extinguished. The light, probably he's talking about life, or it could be the light of life, where Jesus says that he is the way, the truth, and the life. The way, the truth, and the life. Not the light, but now I'm confused which one was. But anyway, he's the light of the world, Jesus is. So being impious, you no longer have the light of the world. Jesus, we can transpose these things that he's saying into the modern day of us Christians and non-Christians to see what he says. And their flame shall not turn out to be. Basically a little flame that gets blown out, death. And the impious are going to die, but we, the Christians, will live in the eon. His light will be darkness in Hades, probably, where the impious will go, in his habitation, and the lamp over him shall be extinguished. So when you go to Hades, in the place of the shades in Greek mythology, there won't be any light. As far as it's a dimness, it says, many places, even in the Bible. And then may the least of men hunt his possessions, and may his counsel trip him. So losing the things that you have gained unjustly, the others will end up taking it. And the counsel that he has of the ungodly counsel will trip a person up. I've been watching these videos on a street in Philadelphia, and the walking zombies. This is today in September the 7th, 2022. And these people are tripped up. Everything that they're doing is causing them to walk around. They're not even hardly walking around. They're laying on the ground, crawling, snarling, all bent over real far, dangling their hands and their feet, scratching their wounds on this. It's horrible. And all these people I look at, to me, they're the progeny of the 60s potheads, the people that in the 60s that thought pot and drugs were really great, LSD, and this doesn't harm anybody. Well, go to Philadelphia, in this street in Philadelphia, and see what these people, how they're living. They're not just homeless, but they're terrible drug addicts, and now we have this fentanyl drug, which I don't know a whole lot about, but apparently it's 10 times worse than anything we've seen, and people are dying from it. That's the ungodly today. And it continues in 8, and may his foot be put in a snare. In those days, they set snares for animals so they could capture them and eat them. Different types of animals, a lot of them mainly birds, where they had these little nooses, and they had a twine that went to where they were hiding, and they put little pieces of bread in there, and they covered the twine up so the bird couldn't see it, and he goes in there for the food, and then they pull it and grab it by its leg, and then cut it, kill it, and take it home and eat it. It's pretty common. Common even in the United States for hunting in the West to snare animals. But may his foot, the ungodly, be in the snare. The snare is being set by the devil. We're told in many places in the Old and New Testament. And may he be coiled in a net. I'm not being coiled in a net. It could be a fishing net. And may snares come upon him. One's thirsting shall grow strong against him. And we have that little dagger there. So let's go down and see what that is in verse 9. That is for his destruction. A snare is hidden in the earth for his destruction, and the thing seizing him is upon the roads. That is the little noose. May griefs destroy him round about, which these people in Philadelphia sure were grieving. It was like, oh, horrible. And I can't think of the name of the city, but it's on YouTube if you looked it up. Walking Zombies of Philadelphia. And may many things come around his foot. That is the snare. But 1, 2, and 3, hunger, an extraordinary severe downfall is prepared for him. Starving. If you're not working, there's a couple of cities in the United States that the people don't even know how to supply themselves for water, clean water to drink. In these cities, probably the next thing would be not having food, hoping somebody is going to help them out rather than doing it on themselves. And may the soles of his feet be devoured, tore up, and death shall devour his beautiful things. All the things that the ungodly has will come to an end. And may healing be torn from out of his habitation. No healing for a person that's walking ungodly. Now, God can heal the ungodly, send somebody, and the person can give their life to Christ, of course. But without that, it's pretty tough to be ungodly. Not an easy thing in life. It's much easier to be a Christian, although you could be a Christian and find yourself to be martyred, made fun of, and harmed by other people. So life in its test is not easy for anyone. And may he have himself distressed by reason of a royal decree. And so I think of these people that are homeless, and the zombies of Philadelphia could end up having the police or the mayors, or the governor of the state decide they're going to do something about it, make a decree, and all of a sudden all these people are going to find themselves in a lot of trouble, worse than they're at. And that would probably be grabbing them, taking them away from there, and putting them someplace where they no longer have their drugs, and they're going to have to go through this terrible withdrawal from what they love. The distress shall encamp in his tent in his night. And these people, the video, the man driving through this neighborhood, it was at nighttime when most of them are out there taking their drugs and falling all over each other. His beautiful things shall be scattered with sulfur. And the people there, I believe, after they would clean up all the area, which is littered, there's tons of rubbish, old cardboard boxes that they're sleeping in, and tents and everything. If all that was cleaned up, then they come back after that with some kind of a disinfectant. And so it would kill the germs. And so here are his beautiful things, what he thinks shall be scattered with sulfur. They're not really beautiful, but drugs would be destroyed. His roots shall be dried from beneath, and on top his harvest shall fall. Being dried up, and his roots, I see these people, they don't look like they could have a family or anything, pretty much towards the ends of their life in a miserable condition. Everything they do, their harvest shall fall. May his memorial be destroyed from out of the earth. You don't want to remember these people that are terrible and going through all these terrible things and causing problems for everybody. And what exists to his name upon the face outer. And here we got another dagger from the face outer is, it says C. boss for variance, so I'm not sure what it is. But what exists to his name upon the outer face, it could be. May one thrust him from out of light into darkness, where they're at now, and from the inhabitable world they displaced him. He's gone. He will not be well known among his people, nor will his house be preserved in the place under heaven. All the homeless today, when they're gone, go into some grave, maybe even unmarked. Nobody knows. But in the things of his, others shall live, clean the place up, and people can move back in. The last moaned for him, and the first had wonder, moaning and wondering why these people are doing what they're doing when all they have to do is reach out for God, ask Jesus to come into their life, and they'll be changed immediately. I've seen it. I volunteered in a rescue mission, which this would have been in the 80s, the late 80s. people that today we call homeless and drug addicts walking around the streets, were incarcerated more in state hospitals and places like that. And when they came out, they didn't have a place to go, so they would come to the rescue mission where I volunteered, helped clean up the kitchen, wash dishes, and then gave a message at night, sort of what I'm doing right here. But I just went through the four Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, because most of the people in there hadn't heard of the Bible. So I figured, well, I'm not going to start off in the Old Testament, or maybe I should have started off in Job, huh? But I didn't. I started off with the New Testament with Jesus, and I went through the four Gospels, I don't know, a couple times, to these of the homeless people and the ones that had just gotten out of prison and had come there as a halfway house. And it was moaning and wonder with these people. And these, it says, are the houses, as we read it earlier, the houses of the unjust, which I hope we are not considered. And this is the place of the ones not knowing the Lord. All these people, if they know the Lord and they're living like that, then they're in a backslidden condition, or they have rejected God outright. The backsliding, a person can be renewed, the Holy Spirit, asking God to come into their life. But if they have sinned against the Holy Spirit and they see things bad as good and good things as bad, then their condition is pretty much hopeless. And it says that about that, the ones that have received the Spirit and have cast it away, I think at the second to the last chapter of the book of Hebrews. Well, Job now has heard again from another one of these three men, so he's going to start speaking and telling us about what he thinks in the situation that he sees himself in. Hope you join us in chapter 19. Till then, God bless.